This has been one of the hardest challenges I've done and one of the most difficult budgeting months of my life. I tried to go an entire month without spending any money and I ended up saving an extra 624 dirhams and 25 fils. And I did this by doing a no spend month challenge. So what's a no spend month challenge? Basically, it's a way for you to challenge yourself not to spend anything for an entire month outside of what you need to keep a roof over your head, food in your fridge, and other basic necessities. Consider it like a diet for your finances. If you're anything like me, you're also serious about money management, budgeting, and saving. You're probably always on the lookout for the latest investments and tips on how to save money or how to make your money make money for you. Tell me this doesn't sound familiar to you. Get into real estate and get rich. Stop buying lattes and save more. Or the best one, try a no-spend month and you'll be rich. Okay, no one's ever said that, but that's what I thought it was going to be when I started this challenge. But really, all of this advice is given to us to improve our financial situation. But does anyone ever tell you about the real pros and cons of trying to save an extra few bucks? Specifically when you're doing a no-spend month challenge? If not, that's why I'm here. And also, I'll be able to tell you about my experience doing a no-spend month and why I don't plan on doing one again anytime soon. So let me paint this picture for you of how I got to this point. I'm on social media doing what we all do so well. Scrolling away, looking at all the recommendations that the algorithm has prepared for me. Filling my brain with all things finance and budgeting. And what do I stumble upon? The No Spend Month Challenge. And while we're speaking about the algorithm, don't forget to help your sister out by giving the subscribe and like button a little tap. I find my first video about a no spend month and I'm intrigued. I go to the search bar and type in no spend month and voila, tons of videos pop up. It took me 5 minutes and maybe 10 videos to decide I was doing a no spend month challenge. Another way for me to save some extra money, you don't have to tell me twice. And I went and got my calendar, got some pens and some highlighters, and I started filling some stuff in. You should know that there are variations to this challenge, and it really depends on the person and what their goals are. Some people, they literally aren't going to spend anything outside of the necessities, while others decide that for a month, they won't spend on maybe new clothes if they are a shopaholic, or they won't eat out if they can't cook. I decided I was only going to spend on the essentials, such as rent, electricity, water, and stuff to keep my life functioning. But I also added 4 exceptions: gas for my car, groceries, health, and Eid. In case you don't know what Eid is, it's basically a celebration time for Muslims. We eat, we have fun, and we spend time with family and friends. This obviously is a very short summarized version. However, this is not that video. So let's get into the pros and cons of a no spend month challenge. Let me start with the pros that came from doing this challenge. So number 1, you save more money. I ended up saving extra money for the month of June. Every month, I put away a certain amount towards savings, and whatever I have left over at the end of the month from other envelopes goes into the savings or into my savings challenge. If you don't know anything about my savings challenge, definitely check out my video. But for this month, I probably saved an extra 300 or 400 dirhams more than in any other month. So I would say that's a win. Number 2, financial discipline. I would say I am naturally pretty disciplined with my money, but this challenge brought discipline to a whole other level. Every day, I had to think about what I was doing, prepare it in advance so that I wouldn't get the sudden urge to spend money while I was outside. You really get to see what the essentials are in your life and the things that you just desire to fulfill some kind of want that you have. Number 3, forces you to reflect. This challenge is very eye-opening and allows you to see what your good and bad spending habits are. Daily, you're forced to reflect on all the nonsense you are so easily willing to spend your money on. You're forced to kind of really visit those real triggers of why you buy and why you spend, and you actually start thinking about where all this kind of stemmed from. Number 4, you learn to say no. Saying no to things can actually be a positive thing, especially if you're trying to save money. While doing this challenge, I found myself saying no to more things than ever before. No, I don't need that bag of chips just because I wanted something to munch on. And no, I don't need that random pen because I have tons of pens at home that I still have yet to use. So for me, really, saying no isn't that bad. Number 5. Simplifying life and knowing your priorities. Living a month of limited to no spending gives you time to really think about what's important to you and what matters to you the most. Your headspace is clear and it's not muddled thinking about all the things you think you need to get. I definitely learned more about myself through this challenge and also about my money habits, again, both the good and the bad. Number 6, no eating outside. I really got to see how often I felt I needed a quick snack when I went out. And it was way more frequent than I realized. I realized how often I leave the house without eating because I'm so used to just grabbing a quick bite while on the road. And when doing a no spend month, you really have to consider all the planning that goes into going outside to ensure that you don't spend money while you're out there. I actually saved my entire eating out budget when I did my no spend month challenge. So those are my 6 pros to doing a no spend month challenge. Now let's move on to the cons of doing a no spend month. Number 1, feeling restricted. My goal is to save without feeling restricted. The no spend challenge kind of did the opposite for me. In my opinion, this challenge works best for those who are trying to limit or take a break from excessive spending. However, that was never really a concern or a problem for me. Probably something I should have thought of and did more research before jumping headfirst into this challenge, you would think, right? So because of this, many days I felt restricted because I had already put a small amount aside or had allocated enough in my budgeting binders for my simple wants, and not being able to buy them at all was just no fun. And when I say simple wants, I mean like ice cream from McDonald's kind of simple wants. That's the kind of simple I'm talking about. So is that too much for a girl to ask for? Number 2, I found that I was consciously making the decision to not meet up with sisters because I didn't want to spend any money, which meant I was sitting around at home doing not much. But really, I do enjoy time out with the girls. And not being able to do that because I knew it would involve money spending just wasn't a good feeling. But please don't get it twisted. I'm not one to just jump and participate in everything. I just think the fact that I knew I couldn't spend money just made things that much harder. Number 3, uncovering my negative relationship with money. So I was raised in a house that was all about saving money. It was ingrained in me. This could be a good thing and this could be a bad thing. If you're able to do it, you feel proud and accomplished. But the moment you aren't, you feel like a big failure. The first day I had to spend unexpectedly during my no spend month was very devastating, both psychologically and emotionally. I even got to a point where I didn't want to continue the challenge. It took me like a good few days to really get over the fact that I had to spend money. That for me just didn't seem all that healthy. I also found that I started to hyper focus and fixate on making sure that I didn't spend any money, which kind of felt like it was becoming an obsession for me. And anything that brings on kind of like obsessive behaviors can't be good for you. Number 4, over planning. I am naturally a planner, but with this challenge, I felt like I had to over plan. The problem with this though is that every once in a while, I do like to just move on a whim and not be planned, and try to engage with that free side of myself. But during this month, I found that I just didn't bother because of the extra planning that would be involved just to ensure that I wasn't spending money unnecessarily. So because of this, I did feel a slight sense of deprivation, I guess is the best word. So that's it for the cons. Although I do have more pros, I think the 4 cons are enough for me to know that I'm not the right individual to do a no spend month regularly. Okay, but wait, before you go to my comments, please remember these are my experiences, and I'm not saying it will be the same for you. I'm sure there are people out there that think a no spend month is perfect for them, but the cons for me were enough to decide that I won't be partaking in a no spend month anytime soon. My default way of thinking is to save and not spend. I already have a saving mentality, and saving for me is not hard, and frivolous spending is just not my style. So this type of savings challenge benefits those who find it hard to keep money in their pocket. I did, however, learn something from this challenge. I got to see that I am actually doing well with my budgeting each month. I think I've balanced my envelopes just enough to the point where I don't feel restricted, but I also do not feel like I'm wasting money or not budgeting in the right way. So, if a no spend challenge is not right for me, then who is it right for? If you're new to budgeting and saving and you really want to accelerate your savings goals, then this might be the challenge for you. If you have a ton of debt and you're trying to get it down, then this challenge might be right for you. If you splurge and spend a lot of money and need to control yourself and give yourself some structure, this challenge is the challenge for you. If you've been thinking about doing a no spend month challenge and you're ready to take the plunge, head on over to my comments and write "I'm doing it" to let me know that you're going to try to do a no spend month challenge. And also be sure to go back to that comment and update me on how the challenge is going for you. And if you're going to do it, try and find balance and get this no spend month working for you. I'm going to link some of my videos of my no spend month challenge at the end of this video so you see how mine went. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. And that's it for my experience doing my no spend challenge. Thanks for stopping by, sisters, and I'll see you in the next one.